Welcome everyone to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am Bloodworth because when I talk about Savage Swords RPG, I am going to be playing this game system as a player. For the very first time tonight, we have our session 0. The game master is going to be Shadow and Son, also has a YouTube channel here on YouTube, so I recommend that you check that out as well. And this is so apropos because it is Sumerian September, just began 2 days ago, and so I had already started planning how I was going to honor the memory of Robert E. Howard and his primary character Conan the Barbarian, and then it just came across my bandwidth that Shadow and Son is going to be running this game on Wednesday evenings, and I was like, hey, I am up for it. I really want to check it out. So I picked up the PDF of this. It isn't softcover, hardcover, but I grabbed the PDF just to take a look at it. And if I'm playing it, I only really need the PDF for that purpose. So for now, at least, sticking with the PDF. And I'm going to start showing you my first look through the PDF. So I'm not going to go through the entire thing because it is clearly 600 pages long. So this is a huge PDF. I got it for like $17, so really cheap for that page count. And I'm really excited about it. So here we go. I am going to switch views here and go right into that PDF. And as you can see, 622 pages. So that is a monster of a game. So this is written by Miguel and Mark Brooks, Miguel Ribeiro and Mark Brooks. Additional writing by Sylvia Clemente. The layout is by Miguel. Cover art is by Derek Stevens. And then comic book pages by Chris Villarosa. Cover logo by Joel Waldercheks. I'm sorry about that. I have a hard time with those Slavic names sometimes. The character sheet logo by Roger Jones. The world map by Jai Tanaka. The Red Room uses Jai Tanaka a lot, so good to see. And illustrations and stock art are from Freepik. So copyright 2025. So this is one of their this year's releases. Really excited about digging into this. They do have a website, morderet.com. You can certainly look it up. So here we have the content. So we have character creation, the introduction, character creation, path of honor and infamy, equipment, experience, combat. Now I am going to do an overview of this over the course of the next several weeks as well. So I will be going a little bit deeper into this game as I'm playing it. So as I'm learning it as a player, I am certainly going to continue covering this in the game. So the world of Savage Swords, I'm going to look forward to that. The history of suffering, March of the Damned, an introductory scenario. Maybe we'll be playing that first. The world map, 618, and then the character sheet. Let's take a real quick look at the world map, 618, and then the character sheet. It'd be nice if I typed it straight. So here we have the Westlands. So this is not set in, from what I can tell right now, this is not set in Robert E. Howard's Hyborian Age, possibly a different continent on it. The infamous Black Isles and the uncharted Lost Continent. So, all right. So this is a different location than the Hyborian world or Hyborian Age. So we'll see. Possibly they'll say in relation to where this is found. Um, this certainly looks like this is meant to be Japan. Um, yeah, and China and India. So this is definitely Africa, or at least a simulation of Africa. So kind of strange. Yeah, you can definitely see the Europe in here, and Africa and Asia. Interesting, interesting take. Let's look at the character sheet. You can glean a lot from a system by its character sheet, right? So, Path of Sin and Virtue. Uh, well, this is interesting because we had a discussion. I had a discussion with the RPG grandma just this past Sunday, and she was talking about systems that have an alignment that is like along a line, along a numerical line, and you can kind of see where your path of sin versus virtue is here as well. So that's really interesting to see that. She was talking about it being in the Professor Dungeon Master's game. So now we're seeing it here as well. I think she was also saying it was in Draw Steel. So, wow, that's really up to date with current thought on alignment systems. So we have health and panic threshold, kind of like that. Their wits divided by two. Fear points, I guess they accumulate fear points along the way. The attributes are strength, intelligence, wits, agility, toughness, and charisma. Some changes from the normal six that you would see in Dungeons and Dragons, but essentially the same things, right? Although intelligence, wits is kind of like wisdom. Agility, obviously, is dexterity. Toughness is constitution, and so on. The skills, so not a huge amount of skills here. The basic skills, so these are something that every character starts. All characters have a +1 to these skills, no cost. Can't be increased beyond +1. So you will just have climbing and hide and native language and search and sneak all at +1. Perks and drawbacks, gear and rituals, and notes. So fairly simple, uh, character sheet here, which kind of tells us there might be very rules light. So let's go to the beginning now. I just let the I'll let the PDF catch up a little bit. Sometimes PDFs they get jerky like this, and it takes a couple seconds for them to fully load. There we go. Now I can scroll again. The introduction. So it's kind of interesting. The introduction it goes right into into like a comic strip. All right. So that's pretty cool. I will shrink this down a little bit so you can see it a little bit better. I'm liking the art style. A little bit bloody. Like how they make the eyes on the bad guys red. I wonder if that's what happens with your characters when your characters slide on that scale. Almost like the corruption of evil and your eyes start glowing red. That's pretty cool. Well, this doesn't look like a really nice guy here. So it's pretty bloody. I will spend time obviously reading the comic strip a little bit later, but so the introduction. The world of Savage Swords is a brutal realm of swords and sorcery, intrigue, and survival. This is a harsh, low fantasy land where blood soaks the sand of ancient arenas and the night hides unspeakable horrors. Harsh landscapes, from desolate wastelands to dense, steaming jungles, challenge even the hardiest souls. Warlords carve out petty kingdoms amid the ruins of old empires, while powerful aristocrats, I almost said aristocrats, scheme from their court. Across the world, once great civilizations stand on the brink of collapse, and each day is a fight to see the next sunrise. In Savage Swords, you take on the role of those who dare to defy the world's cruelty. Player characters are hardened warriors, cunning rogues, mysterious spellcasters, or priestesses of forgotten gods, all struggling to endure, where only the strong and clever survive. Now, I was asked by my game master, to kind of lean towards a fighter character because the party, I guess, is lacking some. So I'll certainly look towards those lines. The might You might be a mercenary roaming war-torn plains, a thief prowling alleyways of decaying city-state, or a sorcerer delving into forbidden lore. From the brutal slave pits of Zindu to the marbled courts of Valerian, or Valorian, and through the uncharted jungles of the lost continent, adventure awaits at every turn. All right, so themes and atmosphere. Savage Swords emphasizes a dark, mature tone and the unforgiven reality of low fantasy world. The atmosphere is one of the constant tension, harsh realities collide with flickers of hope, and every victory comes at a price. Magic exists, but it is rare and feared by most. Sorcery offers great power at a terrible cost, and the priests of long forgotten gods cling to fading miracles. Amidst crumbling temples and battle scarred fortresses, the line between glory and ruin is razor thin. All right, let's start getting to character possibilities. Your character may be one of the many archetypes provided, but these are merely a few examples. The game encourages you to create any character concept that fits the brutal, decadent civilizations of the world. All right. I'm not going to get into what is a role-playing game. If you're on my channel, you know. It is OSR compatible with old school's Renaissance. Inspiration means the game embraces the classic style of play. Challenges aren't always balanced, and ingenuity and nerve can matter more than special powers. It is up to you to be clever, cautious, and bold when the situation demands it. I like that. That's a nice description of it. Skill checks and actions when your character attempts a challenging action, picking a lock, tracking prey, intimidating a guard, deciphering an ancient script. The player rolls a d20 to determine the outcome. Any relevant skill, attribute bonus, and situation modifiers is added to this roll, aiming to meet or beat the target number. All right, so utilizes that very, very familiar mechanic of having a target number and having to meet or beat it. Combat resolution is fast and brutal and unforgiving. When a character swings a sword or shoots an arrow at an enemy, the player makes an attack roll using the d20 plus combat skill level and strength or agility bonuses against the opponent's defense. Defense is a value representing how hard they are to hit, influenced by agility, armor, or shield. If the attack roll meets or exceeds the foe's defense, the strike lands. Players then roll damage dice based on the weapon or spell. Health points tied to toughness track how much injury the character endures. All right. In the OSR spirit, combat is truly dangerous. Skilled warrior can succumb to a fortunate strike. Critical hits, grievous wounds, and quick deaths are all possible if fate and the dice turn against the player character. Character creation, let's see how the system uses. So the attributes run from 3 to 18 for human characters, with most individuals falling between 9 and 12. Dice rolls determine the scores. A 3 to 5 is considered feeble. For strength, it struggles to lift a broadsword, easily overpowered. Intelligence, uneducated, struggles with abstract thought. Wit, slow to react and notice danger. Agility, clumsy, ineffective in battle. Toughness, prone to illness, quick to exhaustion. Charisma, repellent or forgettable, unconvincing in speech. I like that. Really like how they do the categories and then they describe how each attribute is represented by that low category. That is really interesting. Mediocre is 6 to 8. Character can handle basic weapons but lacks power, intelligence, basic reasoning, and literacy. Wits is notices common dangers but is easily deceived. I really do like this. I like the descriptions that they give here. Average, I'm not going to go through. Impressive, this is where you're probably getting like a +1. Strength, a strong warrior capable of defeating weaker opponents. Intelligence, knowledgeable, speaks multiple languages. Wit, you can sense traps and betrayals and is rarely caught off guard. Agility, move with grace and precision, and is a master duelist. Toughness, shrugs off wounds that would cripple lesser men. Charisma, commands respect and loyalty and dominates conversations. Exceptional, let's just go to legendary. So let's see if you got that 18 on one of your attribute rolls. Strength, mightier than a warlord's champion. Intelligence, knows secrets lost to time. Wits, anticipates betrayals before they are even voiced. Agility, unmatched in battle, a blur of motion. Toughness, endures that what no man should survive. And finally, charisma, can swing kings and lead armies with words alone. I really do like those descriptions. Rolling for attributes, you're going to roll 3d6 6 times to determine their abilities. The Game Master may require rolling in sequence, first for strength, then intelligence, and so forth. Alternatively, players may roll 6 times and assign scores as they wish, allowing for creation of specific type of characters. After rolling, the players may adjust their scores, lowering one attribute by 2 points to raise another attribute by 1 point, up to 3 times per character. Okay. So it's a 2-for-1 swap out, and up to 3 times. And here we have the modifiers, and this is fairly typical. Skills. Characters receive skill points based on their archetype and their primary attribute score. The base number of points is determined by the chosen archetype. So primary attribute, extra skill points. So if your primary is let's say a 16 to 17, you would usually shoot for that if you have lucky enough roll. It'll be a +4 skill points. Health points. Character's toughness modified by archetype determines the maximum number of health points. Damage from combat, hazard, or supernatural temporarily reduces HP. Characters recover through rest, medical care, or sorceress healing. Perks and drawbacks. I'll get into that into more detail. The origin and life path. There's a general origin table. There's a regional specific origin tables. How to use the table, you're going to roll a d6 or a d4 on the appropriate origins table. So let's look at the generic roll a d4 or a d6. common merchants and trade. I don't know, I'm looking at it. It looks like you might roll 2d6, one to determine the category, and then one inside that category. Because rolling a d4 would only get you to warlords and landed warriors. It would not include nobility and wealthful elite or royalty and great leaders. Maybe that's by design. You know, that might be by design. Origin tables for, so that's a generic. The origin table, so this is where you have different regions, and this will have the origins table. Again, a D4 and a D6. So it doesn't appear that you can start off as a noble house or a royalty in high command. If I'm not interpreting this wrong. So I'm going to move on to the next thing, and let's take a look at the character archetypes, because I am going to be creating a character sometime tonight. So the life path events, I'm going to roll a d20. Pretty cool image. I will get to this later. This looks like it's regional as well. Yes, it's regional as well. Archetypes, warriors and soldiers. So there's the bannerless Ronin, the barbarian warrior, primary attribute is strength. I might go with the barbarian warrior, but let's see. Barbarian warrior lives and dies by his own strength. He may be a nomadic raider, a beast taming jungle fighter, or a mountain berserker, but he always thrives in battle and knows only the law of survival. He starts with 4 skill points. His starting health points and toughness is toughness plus 2d6 plus 2. His strength is his primary. His set skills are melee combat, athletics, survival, hand-to-hand combat, stealth, and streetwise. His choice of free perks are battle-hardened, weapon specialist, grit, fearless, panther-like reflexes, and heightened senses. The unique feat, savage onslaught, once per combat. When reducing an enemy to 0 or less HP in melee, the barbarian warrior can immediately make another free attack against a nearby enemy. Starting gear, massive two-handed weapon, great sword, great axe, or warhammer, animal pelts, drinking horn, tribal talisman. Examples are the Bavarian berserker, a warrior who fights, blood drunk, a Scanian reaver, a brutal seafarer who raids and pillages in the honor of his ancient Hassun. Derusian clan warrior, a northern barbarian who savagely carves through enemies. There's a beast hunter, there's a border sentinel, cavalry raider, a demon slayer, a gladiator, a knight of the realm, a mercenary, a temple guardian, a veteran soldier, a warband champion. There's quite a bit. A warlord's bodyguard. Rogues and outlaws. So there's a charlatan, a cutthroat, a bandit, a disgraced noble, a gambler, a pirate. I always love pirates. Let's see what pirate looks like. Starting skill points 4. Primary attribute is going to be agility. Their toughness is toughness plus 2d4 plus 1. Sailing range to combat, streetwise stealth influence. Free perks, lucky, crit, network of contacts, danger sense, guileful, ghost step. Dirty tricks once per combat. With a free action can impose a -3 penalty on an enemy's attack by using a surprise move. Starting gear is a cutlass, reinforced leather coat, stolen jewelry, a flask of rum. I'm leaning towards pirate. I love pirates. Hopefully we're kind of set in a region that will support that. Nobles and politicians. And scholars and artisans. Let's take a look at like the heretic scholar, a librarian of forbidden texts, master artisan, a physician healer, a playwright poet, a runesmith, a scribe, a warlord's advisor. And here we get to priests and monks and cultists. Ascetic warrior, a funerary priest, an inquisitor, a priest, a sacred courtesan, warrior saint, a zealot, mystics and occult scholars, an alchemist, an eldritch sorcerer, holy magician, a necromancer, oracle, a shaman. And then we get into skills. Skill levels are novice, apprentice, journeyman, expert, and master. Target numbers, so simple tasks are 10, 15, 20, 25, and impossible is 30. Specializations and cooperation. So yeah, there's quite a bit here. I mean, I've scrolled through 73 pages already, but there's quite a bit here. So there are basic skills. There are, then we get into just a list of skills here, from alchemy through technician. So quite a bit here. And let's get to the next section. Once we're out of character creation, we'll see what the next session is. Perks and drawbacks, list of perks. There's quite a few of them. This is a list of drawbacks. And this is all still part of character creation. So your characters are going to be pretty in-depth. Path of honor and infamy. I will get to this later. But definitely take a look at that a little bit later. But there you have the first look. So I am going to be spending some time, this evening creating a character. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I will get back to you and let you know how that went. And maybe showcase the character that I did create while doing this. So looks really interesting. I'm pretty excited about it. The system itself seems to be, just based on what I've looked at, target numbers and rolling a d20 to hit and everything, all seem to be, pretty standard fare for OSR-based adventure games like this, and really looking forward to it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please remember to like and subscribe and to comment in the comments section, share this out there, um, and be on the lookout for any opportunity to play some of these games that are very niche or very you know um, not huge publishing amounts and such like that. Some of these, these are what I call hidden gems. Sometimes you come across games that are, that just kind of incorporate all of the really cool ideas from all different places and bring them together in a whole. And when you can come across them, like I said, definitely give these types of games a try out there. And and then if you're a game master much as myself, you can you can run games like this as well, and just expose either your individual player group to these wide variety of games, just as my friend Shadow and Son is doing with us. Or you can run things like this at conventions, which is another really cool thing for you to do. It's great for the hobby, and it's great for your own personal growth as a game master or as a player, to just try out different game systems. So anyway, thanks for joining. I hope you enjoyed this. And as always, I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen or at a convention sometime soon. We'll have a great rest of your day. Take care.